It's a first-place Philadelphia Eagles team. Eagles-Cowboys week, Peter. Feel like an Eagles-Cowboys week to you?
Are they unloading, or are they getting rid of a voice in the locker room that's against Mike McCarthy? You're gone. He gone. You know, is he one of those unnamed voices that's spreading dissent, or are they actually unloading? You know, that's the first question. And Gil, you're talking about the first-place Eagles. Yeah, by virtue of a tie. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed. A buddy of mine from Chicago texted me and said, "Good Lord, this is the Sunday night game I got to watch?" Yep, 2-5 versus 2-4-1.
You know why?
Enjoy, America.
You know why? Because people care about the NFC East more than they care about your lousy Bears team that we watched last night. That's why. The ratings are always great for the NFC
Bears
East.
Did not show up. Yeah,
look, if the Eagles, put it this way, PT, in the year 2020, with all we've gone through, give me a playoff berth, give me meaningful football, I'll take it. 2020, I'll take it.
I just thought it was funny that you were vaunting the Eagles as the first place team when it's, you know, they're almost virtually identical record wise. So thank God for that tie, right? Who knew?
Well, we did know. We talked about it when they got the tie, that normally the tie actually ends up helping you out. Like most times when it comes down to a tie, it ends up being the difference maker. I don't know that it will even be a difference maker. If the Eagles are to win this game, that would be 2 in a row, and they have the bye week, and then the Giants coming up. You could potentially see a 3-game win streak here all of a sudden.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, you know, keep in mind this is the same team that was down 11 to the Giants. Like the Eagles, you know, everybody's licking their chops because the Cowboys look so bad against the Washington football team. But the Eagles didn't look that great in the first half or basically being down 11 with 5 or 6 minutes to go against the Giants. I mean, they're not well yet either. So, yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited that they're playing a weakened Dallas team, but I'm not puffing my chest out and going, look at my team yet.
No, but the difference
Nor
is...
should you, by the way.
Yeah, correct. The difference is the trajectory for both squads is, you know, the Eagles are starting to get at least a little bit more of an identity, specifically offensively, and getting guys returning, while whatever is happening in Dallas is happening. They have their defensive coordinator getting Tabasco sauce in his eye, Jerry Jones telling media people to shut up and let me answer. I mean, just the directions of both teams is why I think we feel the way that we do about the current state of the Eagles.
What happens with the Eagles a lot? Like Doug Peterson has been able to do a great job at keeping the drama to a minimum and keeping the team focused even through tough times.
How does he do that? Does he get that from Andy? I mean, where does he get that ability to sort of close ranks and whatever happens in the room, keep it in the room, you know, because you're right. You don't see things fracture apart like you would see in New York. If the Eagles were the Giants or Jets, things could have gone awry by this point, or what you're seeing in Dallas. You know, I mean, there's a lot of NFL teams that get intense media scrutiny, and the Eagles are one of them, and yet they somehow seem to stay together. I don't know if you put that on Doug or if Doug learned that from Andy or where he gets it from, but yeah, that's true. They are a solidarity even when they're the ship is going down, it seems.
Now, if they were to win this game, they have the bye, then they play the Giants, they would be 4-4-1. If they get themselves back to 500, does the PT then reevaluate how serious he takes this team?
Well, I take them seriously whether if they were like, if they didn't have a win yet. I mean, it's in my blood of watching the team even when they're awful, you know. But I still think, and we talked about this before, that, you know, in a weakened NFC East division, this stretch right now could give them a leg up on being able to, you know, push through and get, you know, because they still have some tough games again. Let's not, you know, week 12 it's with Seattle, week 13 with Green Bay, week 14 with the Saints. That is a gauntlet, 12, 13, and 14. But to be able to have 16 and 17 sitting on there, which is the Cowboys again and the Washington football team, yeah, you get through this stretch and give yourself a little bit of an edge, and who knows what Cleveland team you're going to get, but you get through this stretch, you're in pretty good shape. Sure, well, I'm taking them serious.
Yeah, and here's the tough part. They could win 3 in a row and then follow that up with 5 straight losses. I mean, it's very conceivable that they could go through a 5-game losing streak and still be in first place at the end of it.
That's how bad the NFC East is. You're right. As I look at this again, Cleveland, Seattle, Green Bay, Saints, and Arizona, bang, 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 bang. They could lose all 5 of those games conceivably because Cleveland has improved. Arizona, you're not sure, you know, Kyler Murray. God, I finally watched Kyler Murray, like a full game of Kyler Murray the other day, and I'm like, this kid's impossible to bring down. He gets gains out of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he can fly. That was a really exciting game. But look, this discussion, it's just how we thought it would be when the season began, right? Possibly going on a 5-game losing streak and still being in first place. PT,
it makes this 3-game streak imperative to get.
Big time. And as PT mentioned, Cowboys and Washington, you never know. Maybe it's that last game of the season could be the difference in winning the division against Washington or not. PT, I want to get your thoughts on Carson Wentz, though, Thursday night.
The good Carson Wentz, I mean, the number one thought that I keep having is, like, if he's this good in the fourth quarter, why can't he do it the rest of the game? Like, what is the difference? What happens when they hold up the 4 fingers like they do in college, and the clock ticks to 4? Why does he then all of a sudden become super Wentz? Like, why can't he do that any earlier? And I'm baffled by that. I mean, those numbers, I think it was John Clark that tweeted out those numbers. Like, from that fourth quarter and the Ravens' fourth quarter, he accounted for like 5 touchdowns. He had like a 118 passer rating. I mean, the guy he blew up, in what he did in the fourth quarter. Well, so, okay, just tell him every quarter is the fourth quarter. Maybe he gets better. It's baffling to me why all of a sudden that switch, maybe it's desperation. Maybe it's like throwing out the script and just sort of improvising. I don't know what it is, but damn, he looks good in the fourth quarter. I'd sure like to have some of that in the first, and the second, and the third.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like when you put Nick Foles in the Super Bowl, he's really good. You put him in any other game, not so good.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen that theory out there that he's better unscripted. He can make checks at the line on his pre-snap reads, like, if he's improvising, and you see sometimes, too, that Peterson's trying to do everything he can to get 4 quarters of Wentz, not 1 quarter of Wentz. Like, let's go up tempo, let's and there's been some times where they come out and look good in the first set of plays that are scripted, but then all of a sudden they go into this stalemate of just ugliness, and you wonder what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I mean, when now, PT, you are one of these guys who's like, you remember stuff. You've been to these things. What is the PT's Eagles-Dallas on a Tuesday? All right, so you'll be back on Friday for Happy Hour Friday, so you get a chance to maybe study up more. But first one off the top of your head, Eagles-Cowboys week, PT's favorite moment.
Well, gee, I have so many. I mean, Eagles-Cowboys week, I always bring up the frostbite in my feet from the NFC Championship in 1980 when I was a kid. That game was cold. I think about, when Luis and Dejas went from the Cowboys to the Eagles, or the opposite way around, and then they said that they were trying to put a hit on them. I mean, the Terrell Owens game on Monday Night Football, I think of that game when Donovan had all that time to scramble around, and Terrell did the little skating dance. In fact, that one was controversial, wasn't it? Because they opened up with Nicolette Sheridan from Desperate Housewives, and she looked naked in the open, and all of a sudden, Disney had to issue an apology. I mean, I got so many Eagles-Cowboys week memories. Plus, I'm just glad, listen, Doug Peterson could copy Andy all he wants. I'm just glad that we don't have to hear the quote again about that little old lady in the McDonald's. Remember Andy would do that every week? He'd throw out that thing like it was the first time we heard it. Like, yeah, I ran into a lady at the McDonald's, and she said, you can lose every game you want, just beat Dallas. Thanks, Andy. Like, we didn't. That's real original for the 5th year in a row.
Speaking of running into a lady at McDonald's, Broads, why don't you tell them your predicament that you found yourself in today?
Wow, you read my mind. I was literally thinking about I'm going to ask PT what he would have done. So I was at Wawa, PT, and this gentleman in front of me paid for my coffee. And I was like, wow, this is the first time it's ever happened to me. I hear about it all the time. I'm like, wow. So what I do is I turn around and I look at what the woman behind me has, because I was thinking about passing on that type of mentality for the day. Then I realized that she had 6 Sizzlies, 3 hash browns, and a gallon of milk. So I walked out of Wawa. Did I do the right thing or the wrong thing?
Look, paying for somebody's cup of coffee is a nice pay-it-forward move. Turning around and paying for somebody's groceries is an entirely different thing. You know what? I'm not going to rip you on that, Hunter. I think you did the right thing. You quickly evaluated and said, oh, hell no. 1 cup of coffee, or maybe one breakfast sandwich for yourself? I didn't know I'm feeding a family of 5, plus you're getting your milk in your entire grocery order.
Well, I told him. Now, he does not hit the tolls on the way down here. So I said on the way home, to pay it forward to someone else, take the toll road home, pay the guy's toll that's in front of you. Or behind you.
That would be good. The other reason that would be good is, and not to skewer a stereotype, but generally speaking, the people that are paying the tolls are the people that are living a little tighter paycheck to paycheck than, say, the people that just throw it on their Easy Pass or don't want Big Brother watching. You know what I mean? If you're digging out quarters out of your center console, you could use a little break when the guy in front of you pays your toll. Absolutely, that's a good idea, Gil.
Yeah, now what's the limit on where I pay or don't pay? Because I think, okay, the $1 payment is what the guy paid for me. I'd honestly be willing to go up to $10, which, that's respectable considering $1 was my payment. But I feel if we're going to get into that 15, 20 range, it's fair to shut down.
Oh, 100%. And keep in mind, I'm telling you to pay the toll on the local toll here. I'm not telling you to pay the Delaware Memorial Bridge toll or something like that. I'm not telling you to pay a New York toll that's like $17. I'm also like, for you, in your situation, the guy paid $1. You turned around, you did a quick survey of what this lady had in her arms, and you thought, Jesus, that's like $23. I mean, it is hard to break the $20 mark at Wawa. If you're breaking $20, you should be going to the grocery store. You have a problem. You should
but
not
PT,
be breaking the $20 limit.
Why I felt awkward, it was almost like it took away from the greatness of the coffee. The coffee would normally taste amazing because I knew, wow, this guy bought it for me. But because I went out the way that I did, it took away the greatness of that coffee. But she knew that the guy paid in front of me, and she saw that I looked behind, so I feel like she was like, wow, all right, this guy's not going to do it.
I'm sorry. If she had a cup of coffee, I think it'd be okay to do it. You don't know this lady from Adam. You're not obligated to pay for her stuff. Look, she willingly chose all those high-priced items. Give me a break.
Now, PT, have you ever done that to somebody else before, where you are the guy?
Have I turned around and paid for other people's stuff?
Yes, where you're the guy in line and you turn around and say, you know what? See that guy back there? I got his milk.
I have paid for when I've seen somebody struggling with like money or like digging for extra change or something. I've offered up money, but both to kind of keep the line moving, like let's keep this going, but also to help in. I have not surprised somebody with the payment, although a lot of the bars and taverns around here could say, boy, we really missed the PT because I often would buy people a drink or several drinks at the establishment that I was imbibing at.
All right, Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. Don't forget he's back for Happy Hour Friday. We'll get a pick on the Eagles and the Cowboys. Now, I want you to think about more thoroughly some Eagles-Cowboys things. Now, something on that maybe a game that you've been to, something to that effect.
I enjoyed when, you remember we used to have Drew Pearson on all the time? I enjoyed when Drew Pearson fired the first shot at the draft, and then David Akers fired the shot back. I mean, there's a lot of Eagles-Cowboys stories we could tell. So I'll do my homework, MG. I will think up of a few and some moments that we've had, they did it again. Right, I'll think of some stuff.
All right, PT, are you going World Series tonight?
You kind of have to, don't you? Because it might end. I mean, listen, I'll full-fledged admit that I have not watched the series like I should.
Wow.
I did not watch the entire game the other night, and yet I did see the update on my phone. And then in this 2028, you see the update on your phone, and you click on it, and you get to see the entire play and the highlights twice. And, what a wild finish that was in that game. I didn't watch a lot of the other one because, the NFL sort of dominates my thoughts and all that, but I'll take a look tonight. There's nothing competing with it. There's no reason you can't watch the Fall Classic.
You're going to go Bachelorette over?
I'm saying, he said there's nothing competing with it. And I said Bachelorette.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's like Puppy Bowl to me. I love puppies, but I'm not watching the Puppy Bowl.
You're missing out.
Are you in on this
season? I love the Bachelorettes, but I'm not watching that show either.
I am typically involved in these type of shows, but this specific season, we have not been as engaged as we normally are.
Why is that? Because of the World Series?
No, we watch Love Island, and we're grinding through Love Island.
Oh, now did you watch the first season of Love Island?
Yeah, well, we're watching the UK version right now. We have the Australia version, and we watched the first season of the US version. So, yes.
The first season of the US version was like that junk food that you just can't stop eating. You know it's no good for you. You know it doesn't enrich you, but you just can't.
It's good for you.
Yeah, I mean, the first season I watched. The second season I did. Plus, the guy with the goofy voice should do all voiceovers all the time because he makes such corny jokes, and he's like, whatever moment coming in 3, 2, 1, and then like the tears happen.
Wait, so, Hunter, you have not watched any of The Bachelorette this season?
Not this season.
With Claire Crawley?
No. Not this season.
She's a piece of work, man.
Well, they all are.
I mean,
right?
she's a little over the top.
But that's what makes it what it is. Fart box. She likes the fart box.
Yeah, the guy brought the fart box out, PT. That's right up your alley.
Oh, that old fart thing where you push the button and it makes it look like she
No,
farted
he
or
got
something
down.
like that?
He got down on one knee, like they're doing their first impressions. He gets down on a knee, and it looks like he's got a ring. He opens it up, and there's a guy it's a guy pants down, butt hanging out, and he farts.
I like that guy already. That sounds like my kind of humor.
All right,
Farts are always funny, boys. Can we just agree on that? Farts are always funny.
My friend's father said to me one time, "You could be 6 or 60, and the fart will always be funny."
I couldn't agree more.
All right, we'll leave Tuesday with Thompson on that note right there.
Yeah.
Toot. See you later.
See you guys. Thank you.